Have you ever felt a chill roll down your spine just walking past a graveyard? Tonight, we're peeling back the veil on Victoria's most haunted cemeteries, where restless spirits still roam under the moonlight. From Carlton North to Wangarata, prepare to meet the shadows that refuse to stay buried. Stay with me, and don't blink, because number 7 just might reach out and touch you. 1. Melbourne General Cemetery, Carlton North, Victoria. You step through the iron gates of Melbourne General Cemetery, and the moment your foot touches the gravel path, the air thickens. It's not just history whispering here, it's something else, something waiting. You pass rows of weathered gravestones, some dating back to the 1850s. A cold wind snakes around your neck, though the night is still. Then you see it, a shadow darting between the trees. At first, you think it's your mind playing tricks, until you hear footsteps behind you. You spin around. No one. This cemetery is home to over 300,000 souls, including 5 Australian prime ministers. But it's not the famous who haunt these grounds. It's the forgotten, the ones buried without names, without peace. Visitors have reported eerie whispers, cold spots that move, and even apparitions near the Prime Minister's Memorial Rotunda. In 2017, a paranormal investigation group captured thermal images showing unexplained heat signatures near empty graves. One investigator claimed a woman's voice whispered, "Don't go," directly into her audio recorder, though no one was around. You keep walking, but your feet feel heavier. It's as if the ground itself wants to keep you here. The shadows seem to move with you, watching, waiting. And then, you feel a hand brush your shoulder. You freeze. Do you dare turn around? 2. Faulner, Memorial Park, Hadfield. You arrive just before sunset. Faulner Memorial Park stretches endlessly before you, one of the largest cemeteries in Victoria. Over 330,000 souls rest here, but tonight, it doesn't feel like they're resting at all. You walk along the cracked pavement, past marble angels and broken headstones. The air turns strangely quiet. No wind, no birds, just silence. That's when you notice it. A faint whisper. It says your name. This place isn't just known for its size. In 1997, a woman named Mercina Halvagas was murdered here while visiting her grandmother's grave. Her tragic death left a scar on this ground. Some say her spirit still wanders, searching for justice, or maybe warning others not to walk alone. Paranormal groups have documented cold zones, malfunctioning electronics, and even ghostly figures appearing on infrared cameras. A cemetery groundskeeper once claimed he saw a woman in white standing by Mercina's grave at dawn, but she vanished when he approached. You pause near a lone mausoleum. The door creaks slightly open. Inside, something shifts. Your flashlight flickers, and for a second, you hear crying. But when you step closer, there's no one there. Just your name, whispered again, closer this time. 3. Walhalla Cemetery, Walhalla. You find yourself winding up a narrow dirt path in the fading light. Perched on a steep hillside, surrounded by ghost gums and silence, Walhalla Cemetery looks more like a forgotten shrine than a resting place. Over 1,100 souls lie buried here, many miners, some children, all long claimed by the gold rush, and something darker. You step past rusted gates, and instantly, a chill bites through your jacket. Locals say no one visits this place after sunset, not since the girl was seen. They call her Emily, a young child buried in an unmarked grave. Tourists have reported seeing a small figure standing alone among the headstones, her dress torn, her face pale, glowing under the moonlight. One couple swore they captured her on video, a translucent silhouette fading into the trees. The footage? Deleted mysteriously the next day. You move deeper into the cemetery. The headstones lean at odd angles, like they're whispering secrets to each other. Then you hear it, a music box tune, soft, distant, haunting. But it stops the moment you speak. In 2015, a paranormal team camped overnight here. Their EVP recorder picked up a child's laugh, followed by a whisper, "Stay with me." They never returned. Now you're standing alone at the top of the hill. The air is still, too still. Then, a giggle, right behind you. 4. Stiglitz Cemetery. Stiglitz. You arrive at dusk, deep in the ruins of the once booming gold rush town of Stiglitz. What remains now is dust, silence, and a lonely cemetery tucked beneath twisted gum trees. The moment you step through the rusted gate of Stiglitz Cemetery, the air turns heavy. You feel it pressing against your chest. Not fear, but warning. Most of the graves here belong to miners who died young, many in brutal accidents underground. Some headstones are so worn, their names are gone, erased by time, or perhaps by something else. You approach a grave marked simply, James, age 14. The grass around it is dead. Locals say James was crushed in a mine collapse in 1867. Ever since, visitors have claimed to see a boy with hollow eyes standing near the trees, watching. Some even say he follows them home. In 2020, a hiker filmed what looked like a figure pacing behind the graves, but when he turned his camera to face it directly, nothing was there. Only silence. He left the site with deep scratches down his arm. No animals in sight. As you stand among the tilted stones, your phone dies, fully charged minutes ago. You try to speak, but the air is thick, like it's swallowing your voice. Then, from behind a tree, a shadow steps out. It's small. It's waiting. 5. Bright Cemetery. Bright. You walk through the mist-covered gates of Bright Cemetery, nestled deep in Victoria's alpine region. It's quiet. Too quiet. The only sound is the crunch of leaves beneath your boots. But as the last light fades behind the mountains, you feel it. Eyes. Watching. Locals whisper about the woman in white, a figure often seen drifting between the graves at twilight. She's said to have died in the 1800s, a young bride whose body was never found after her carriage overturned in the nearby Ovens River. They buried an empty casket here, and some say her spirit never left. You stop by a cracked headstone. Cold air brushes past your face, though there's no wind. Then you hear it, a soft sob just ahead. You move closer. There's no one there. In 2018, a group of campers staying nearby reported seeing a glowing white figure gliding across the cemetery at 3 a.m. When they tried to approach, their torches flickered and died. One swore she heard a whisper say, "Help me," right beside her ear. You take another step, heart pounding. Then, just for a second, you see her, a translucent silhouette at the far end of the cemetery. She turns, she sees you, and vanishes. 6. Avenel Cemetery. Avenel. You arrive under a pale sky, the sun barely clinging to the hills of Avenel, a small town with a heavy shadow. The Avenel Cemetery sits alone on the edge of town, quiet, windswept, and filled with stories people try not to tell after dark. You're not just visiting graves here. You're standing above the past of Ned Kelly, Australia's most infamous outlaw. His father, John "Red" Kelly, is buried here. But it's not Red who stirs the silence. Locals speak of a man in a long coat, seen near the Kelly family grave, appearing only when no one else is around. His face is always turned away. One night in 2012, a photographer tried to capture the site under moonlight. Every shot came back blurred, except one. In the background, a tall shadow, right where no one had stood. You walk toward the Kelly headstone. The air grows colder. A crow caws loudly, then vanishes into silence. Suddenly, your phone buzzes. A call from unknown, but no one's there. Just static, and something like breathing. Then, a whisper near your ear. It's not over. You turn. The cemetery is empty. But the feeling? It follows you home. 7. El Dorado Cemetery. El Dorado. The road to El Dorado. Cemetery is narrow and cracked, swallowed by bushland. By the time you reach the gates, the sun has dipped below the trees, and shadows stretch across the forgotten graves. This isn't a place you stumble upon. This is a place that calls you. The cemetery is small, just a few dozen headstones, but it's what lies between them that unsettles you. Many graves are unmarked, belonging to miners, wanderers, and plague victims from the 1800s. Some were never claimed. Some may never have left. You wander past an old iron fence twisted by time. That's when you feel it. A presence. Not watching. Following. Locals say if you walk alone through El Dorado at dusk, you'll hear footsteps behind you, always matching your pace. But when you stop, they stop too. In 2016, a paranormal researcher left a voice recorder overnight. The next day, she played it back and heard 3 knocks, a deep sigh, and a child's voice whisper, "Don't forget me." You pause at a sunken grave. A cold breeze brushes your arm. Your skin prickles. Suddenly, the bush behind you rustles, loud, fast. You spin around. Nothing. But now, the footsteps are no longer behind you. They're beside you. 8. Heler. Historic grave. Stringybark Creek. The forest at Stringybark Creek is eerily silent as you follow a dirt path barely visible beneath fallen leaves. Nestled deep within the trees, far from roads or towns, stands a single grave, the resting place of Emma Sophia Heler, who died in 1889. They say she never really left. Locals call it the loneliest grave in Victoria. No family nearby, no neighbors, just trees and the wind. But some who visit say they hear soft weeping coming from the woods, always at twilight, always near Emma's headstone. In 2021, a bushwalker left flowers by the grave. As he turned to leave, he heard a woman's voice softly say, "Stay." He froze, spun around, but there was no one there. When he checked his phone later, a single photo had appeared in his gallery. The grave at night, surrounded by mist. He hadn't taken it. You reach the clearing. The grave is small, weathered, the name barely readable. You feel a sudden drop in temperature, though no clouds have passed the sun. Something brushes against your leg. You look down, just grass. But then you hear it, a breath, right behind your ear. Not yours. You turn. Nothing. But a whisper drifts through the trees. "Please, don't leave me again." 9. Yakandanda Cemetery. Yakandanda. The hills of Yakandanda roll gently under a dying sky, but the cemetery perched above the town feels untouched by time or light. You step through the old iron gate and onto soil that has buried stories, sorrow, and something else. This place dates back to the 1850s, where miners, settlers, and forgotten souls were laid to rest. Some of the graves are so eroded, they look like open wounds in the earth. Locals warn, don't wander here alone after dusk, especially not near the stone marked MT, age unknown. No one knows who MT was, but nearly everyone who's dared to stand near that grave after dark reports the same thing, a rattling breath, like someone gasping for air just behind them. In 2014, a group of amateur ghost hunters set up infrared cameras near the back fence. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the footage captured a dark figure crawling between headstones, only to vanish without a trace. When they returned to check the site, their equipment had been smashed from the inside of their locked gear cases. Now you're standing in that same spot. The wind stops, the trees freeze, and from somewhere close, you hear scratching from beneath the ground. Then, faintly, a whisper, "I'm not done." (10) Wangarata Cemetery. Wangarata. You arrive at Wangarata Cemetery just as the fog rolls in, swallowing the older section of the grounds in a thick, silvery mist. It's one of the oldest burial sites in Victoria, dating back to 1851. But it's not the age of the graves that unsettles you. It's what happens between them. You walk past crumbling monuments, past headstones carved with names lost to history. That's when you see it, a figure in black, standing still at the far end of the path. You blink, and it's gone. But now the silence feels tighter, heavier. Locals whisper of the mourner, a spirit seen drifting through the cemetery at sunrise and sunset. She wears a long black veil and never looks up. Some believe she was a widow who took her own life after losing her family in a fire. Others say she's still searching for her child's grave, which was never properly marked. In 2019, a groundskeeper quit after hearing sobbing coming from a freshly dug plot before the burial had taken place. He swore he saw dirt shift, as if something beneath it was moving. You pause beside a sunken headstone. The fog thickens. Then you hear it, soft weeping, just behind you. You turn. There's no one there. But on the stone, clear as day, is a fresh black handprint. Those were just 10 of Victoria's darkest resting places. But the paranormal world goes far beyond their gates. If you thought these tales were unsettling, wait until you hear the legends behind Victoria's abandoned asylums and ghost towns. Click subscribe, ring the bell, and join me next time as we venture deeper into Australia's most haunted corners. Sweet dreams, if you can sleep at all. Sleep.